Hi everyone, Matt here for BMF, and welcome to this live broadcast after the E3 VR showcase. It was an interesting showcase for sure. Thanks for joining us. I've made a list of a whole bunch of different things I want to mention. Let me know in the comments just to make sure that you guys can hear me. I set up a new microphone system. I can turn it up if I have to. But I made some lists here of things that I just want to talk about really quick. And then let me know in the comments what you thought of the showcase. If I was to be honest with you, I actually was a little bit underwhelmed with the Quest featured in the showcase. That's what this channel is, obviously. BMF is your unofficial home for all things Oculus Quest. And it was it was an interesting VR showcase with a lot of VR games for over an hour worth of trailers. But honestly, there was a lot less there that was officially announced for the Quest than I was really hoping for. So we'll kind of talk about that and mention the ones that are officially announced. But I also have a list here of ones that I hope are coming and ones that probably aren't, but that are on my wish list. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, if there's any specific games that you would like to see come to the Quest. The first game that I have on my list mentioned is actually the Wizards Dark Time. And the Wizards, actually, I've been playing the Wizards, the first Wizards. I imagine this is probably the sequel to that, considering it's called The Wizards. I've been playing The Wizards over the last few days, and I have a review coming out actually this week. The plan was to come out today with it, but we're going to delay that because of E3 until tomorrow. But this looks like it could be interesting. Now, I'm hoping because they released The Wizards for the Oculus Quest that they're going to also support the Quest in the Wizards Dark Time. It wasn't officially announced for that, so we'll have to wait and see. It definitely looked like it took a different turn than what the first Wizards game was about. Very different in feel and style even, but we'll kind of have to see where that goes. There was a lot of exclusives. Well, there's a few PSVR exclusives in this, and exclusives drive me nuts because I think that everyone should just be able to play on whatever platform that they want. And now with the Quest, there's going to be what they call, what did I put down here? They call them major VR headsets. Or they call them, what was the other word that they said? High-end. One trailer specifically said, or one of the developers specifically said, it'll be coming to high-end VR headsets. And I imagine that's talking about the Quest, and that it won't be coming to the Quest, which is a disappointment that they don't view that as a high-end if that's the case. I really hope that that's not, because I think that there's potential with the Quest to really have a lot of fun experiences. But the Wizards was the first one. Now, Doctor Who, The End of Time, looked really interesting too. And I'm not 100% sure if that's been announced for the Quest. I think it has. If it hasn't, hopefully it will be coming to the Quest at the same time as the other ones. I'm never really got into Doctor Who, but the experience looks like a lot of fun. So I think that would be really interesting. Now, I didn't write down all the games. There were some games that I knew weren't going to come to the Quest, or I knew that the likelihood of them coming to the Quest were pretty low. But Disciples of Dawn looked kind of interesting. That one probably won't be coming to the Quest, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there was a lot of medieval stuff in this showcase. And I don't know whether it was like a medieval zombie showcase pretty much. So that's kind of where everything went, was to zombies and to medieval times, and some of them even combined medieval times and zombies. So there's a lot of that going on. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's a proven thing. Skyrim's huge. There's a lot of great medieval games. There's a lot of great zombie games, but I'm kind of worried that over time, if that's all we're going to get in VR, we're going to get kind of fatigued from that. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Lo-fi looked interesting. I hope that comes to the Quest. I don't know. It didn't really mention. A lot of these games did not say what platform it was coming to, unless it was an exclusive. So someone would say, give the trailer, and there would be no information as to what game or what platform the game is actually coming out to, which I was kind of disappointed at. I'd rather know that it's not coming out to it, or they don't plan on it, than hope and then find out that it's just coming to PCVR or the PSVR platform. Obviously, the ones that were exclusive PSVR ones probably won't make their way to the Quest unless things change over the course of time. The first game that was officially announced for the Quest was actually Akron, which looked interesting, I guess. I mean, it kind of reminded me, one of the comments as I was watching it said, I am Groot. So, I mean, you're playing as a tree, throwing acorns. I mean, it could be a fun multiplayer experience. It was weird, because some of the until later in the show, a lot of the games that seem to be targeted towards the Quest are very kiddish games, or at least that style of graphics. I'm hoping that developers will realize that there's a lot of cool stuff you can do inside of this, even with stylized graphics. But us adults are the ones that really are going to push this platform farther, and hopefully that they'll realize that that's really the direction to go. And there's some games later on that were talked about that I think are going to do that. But that was the first game, and it looks like it's a cross-platform sort of type thing where you can play on the Quest and on a mobile phone, which is kind of interesting. So you can battle as a tree against these squirrels, and the mobile phones are the squirrels, and they're playing as the squirrels. So we'll see with that one. Again, I want to see more story-based, epic content for the Quest. This is another one-off kind of a wave shooter, which is popular in VR, but that's not all we want in VR. I don't know about you. I like wave shooters, but I'd like to get a little more meat on my video game bones if we can get that. Curious Case of the Stolen Pets, another game that was very kind of kiddish and interesting looking. For the style that it is. Again, that wasn't mentioned as specifically coming to the Quest, but because of the art style, probably in the long run it will end up coming to the Quest. That's kind of the way I envision that one. The Walking Dead VR looked pretty cool. Servios is putting that out, and they're using a lot of the different mechanics that they used in Creed, which we have a review coming out for as well soon. But if the mechanics, it's going to be interesting because with the mechanics in Creed and being able to do melee combat, it'd be kind of cool, and it looked cool to be able to dismember, and that was another new mechanic that they created, a new engine that they created so that you can actually dismember these zombies in whatever way you want, pretty much. But it looked interesting, another zombie game, obviously. But I think it'll be cool if it comes to the Quest, that is. The way that it looked, it wasn't mentioned. I think, though, my assumption with the Quest is there's a lot of developers that want to see where the Quest goes, which is kind of why I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen if these developers don't jump on board. I think that it's really the future of what VR can be, even though there are some limitations to it, but I think we need some support for the Quest itself. So we really got to really get up there and get in touch with these studios and just say, the more people that email them or write to them or message them or tweet to them about wanting this game on the Quest, they're going to see that we really want real good quality content and we're willing to pay for it on the Oculus Quest, even if it means a slightly different experience. So let me know in the comments. I haven't got any real comments yet, but let me know what your thoughts are on any of these. I'd like to know what your thoughts were on the actual showcase. Did you think that it was a little underwhelming? Was it skewered to one side as far as the ones that were saying? I think a Pistol Whip. Yeah, I know. That looked really interesting. Pistol Whip, I'm excited for. A Pistol Whip, it looks like a really cool, it kind of reminds me of the artistic style a little bit of Super Hot. A lot of people were commenting and thinking that Super Hot was Super Hot 2. If Pistol Whip comes to the Quest, which wasn't officially announced, if it does, I think it would be awesome because you really need the freedom of movement in that kind of a game, especially if you're going to be moving around. So Pistol Whip looks great. Another rhythm game, which is really popular in VR, but I'm okay with that because I think that rhythm games, they make sense in a lot of ways for the kind of VR content that we have, and it makes a good workout. But adding guns to it, I think, is a cool little twist to it, and then also a good golf game. Yes, I would love a good golf game. I recently played a demo of a golf game coming to I think actually it might be on the PSVR. I don't really play my PSVR anymore, but if a golf game could come to the Quest, that would be awesome. Because it's just an awesome experience to play golf inside of VR. So if they could either port one of the other golf games over, I'd be happy. Or even if they had to create a game that was a lot like Hot Shots Golf from the PlayStation, that was kind of more cartoonish almost in style, as long as the mechanics were good, I'd be okay with that. But yeah, golf game would definitely be awesome. That's one game that sports game I'd really like to see, that and a racer come to the Quest, because we don't really have either of those. Sports games are limited on right now, except for if you're looking for Sports Scramble. And then there's VR Kart, but I'm not really counting that as a racer because it's not really a real racer. But some cool customization in a racer would be awesome. Okay, so Hotel R&R looked interesting. What did you guys think of Hotel R&R? I mean, that was something, huh? I mean, it looked entertaining. It kind of reminded me like of an adult version of Job Simulator in a way. And yeah, no problem. But it kind of reminded me of Job Simulator in a way, in that everything is, you can destroy things. Again, not announced for the Quest, but perfect opportunity to get room scale, easy movement inside of the Quest if you port it over. But I think that that'd be an interesting environment to deal with, throwing TVs out the window, cutting yourself all up in the shower because you smashed the glass. But it looked really interesting, and a lot of these trailers. I'll link to in the description for this video afterwards. I'll link to the actual live broadcast, and you can skip through it. And then I'll try to link to as many of the games that I talked to for the trailers as well. But I Expect You to Die 2. I'm looking forward to that. I like Expect You to Die. We have a review coming out for that as well for the Quest. But I'm excited that Expect You to Die 2 is coming out. Now, because of the first one coming out for the Quest, my assumption is, and I'm not going to say this for sure, I'm going to reach out to them and see, my assumption is that probably this will end up coming to the Quest. Based on the artistic style, the fact that we already have a port for the first game that's probably been being worked on while they were working on it for other platforms, I would guess. That's my hope anyways. So hopefully we'll see that game come. And it looks like it'll be a little bit different. I'd like to see some new environments, maybe some bigger scale stuff, and a little bit longer of a game. The game's great, but it's a tad on the short side. Even with the replayability, I like it. It's just a little bit shorter than I would like. I'd like a lot more experiences, so I'm really hoping that comes out too. What else we got here? If you guys have any questions or you want to know anything, or maybe you have a comment about one of the games mentioned, then let me know in the comments as well. If you missed it the other day, I actually released a video that mentioned on our weekly wrap-up from last week that Pixel Ripped is actually coming to the Quest. It was officially, they're attempting to port it to. It's not officially announced yet. When I talked to the developer, they did say that they are looking at bringing it to the Quest. And actively seeking a way to do that in the right way. So there's a good chance, they don't want to officially say that it is, but there's a good chance it's coming. And if it is, it's going to be cross-play, which is cool, or cross-buy rather. But also, Pixel Rip 1995, it was just a tack on there that was announced. So they're coming out with another game, Pixel Rip 1995. My hope is, again, with that one, they're actively seeking to port it over because it would be great to have these games. The cool part about that is a lot of it's based around handheld gaming and the experience of that. So it'd be great to have that inside of the Quest, so you can go anywhere and do that. Arizona Sunrise officially announced for the Quest. There we go, official Quest announcement. Everyone that loves zombie games, Arizona Sunrise is a great game. So that was officially announced for the Quest, which is awesome. It's great to see that more studios are picking up the bigger games and porting them over to the Quest, which is really cool. I'll mention now too that they announced the DLC for Arizona Sunrise, the Damned, and I'm hoping that one makes its way over too. My assumption is, like I said, it's going to, because they're porting that over. But another cool thing is it looks like a bigger DLC content that we get to have for Arizona Sunrise. Dance Central, if you play that game, they're coming out with some updates for it. They're coming out with a fitness tracker, which is going to be kind of cool because it can work really well as a fitness game, but having it as a fitness tracker allows you to track your calories that you've burned, and also there's some other updates to that as well. I'll link to the video itself. I'm not a big player of that game, so I'm not going to dwell on that one, but because I'm excited about the next one, Echo Arena is officially coming to the Oculus Quest, which is absolutely awesome. It's a game that I've wanted to come to the Quest for a while, and I'm excited to see that they've officially announced that it is coming, and I think it'll be a lot of fun to play in that arena on the Quest with free locomotion and being able to move around, especially in a larger area. Let's see, some of the games mentioned, stuff like Battle Wake. I'd love to see that come to the Quest. Again, not announced, but it'd be cool to see that come. I'd love to be on a pirate ship in the Quest. Soul Keeper VR, another medieval type game that looked like it could be interesting, but again, not announced officially for the Quest. This is kind of the way that this whole list goes, not announced officially for the Quest. You've got Rogan, which is not announced officially for the Quest. That looks like it could be something interesting. Another medieval. It reminds me a lot of Thief. That game does. In fact, I was waiting for Thief to pop up because they referred to him as Thief. So I was expecting that to kind of be a Thief game. Garden of the Sea looks interesting. Kind of a survival, not really survival, but a living game, I guess. You plant plants and you pet animals and you crossbreed. Eventually, they said they're releasing that in early beta. They said. So I'm hoping that does make its way to Quest 2, just because it'll be fun to play around in that kind of environment. But right now it's exclusively on Steam, and because it is early access, I doubt it'll be a while, or it'll come to the Quest for a very long time, if at all. Another one coming to the Quest in August, Aspire 1. looked really cool. Fully playable first-person shooter in for the Oculus Quest in VR. They have some cool new stuff that they announced that they're trying to do to really reduce motion sickness or VR sickness, which is cool. They call it a motion theater. So it's supposed to reduce the amount of VR sickness that you get, which I think is cool. It looks like it'll be interesting to try out. I'm sure you can turn it off if you don't get VR sickness, but it looks like it kind of creates a mesh around you to really stop you from getting that VR sickness. So I'm excited to try that out. Another really cool game that is coming in August, they said. So not too long away, a couple months away, and we'll be able to be playing another game coming out for the Quest. Now to mention really quick here, there's probably a lot more games coming out for the Quest, I imagine. But the thing is that they're not announcing them. This show seems really geared towards desktop or PC VR and PSVR, not so much for the Quest. I think a lot of people don't view the Quest as a legitimate high-end platform yet. So I really think that given enough time, it'll get there. But I think there's probably a lot more games coming out. I mean, we know that there's supposed to be about 100 games released by the end of the year for the Oculus Quest, whether that's ports or original games. Right now, I'm not sure exactly where we are. They said they're around 50 for the launch, so we're waiting on the rest of these games really be announced. But I think that there's going to be a lot coming in the future for the Quest. It's just a matter of it not really being showcased in this show, which is really kind of disappointing to me. First Contact looked really interesting. That is a Quest game as well. They didn't show anything for it really, but that is another Quest game, so I'm excited to see what that is and how that functions and exactly how it plays. Budget Cuts 2, if you ever played Budget Cuts 1, this one kind of takes off out of the workplace environment into a larger scale world. Again, not announced for the Quest. Since the original hasn't officially been ported or announced as porting over, I don't know that we'll get it, but it's something we can dream of. That's my list there. We're coming to the end of the list here. If you have any questions or if there's any games that I've missed you want to know about, or if there's anything that you really want information on, then let me know in the comments. So the last thing on my list actually is Pistol Whip, and we already mentioned that. The John Wick kind of style. How many times did they say John Wick in that video? I was trying to count all of them, but they said it plenty. So that's kind of a John Wick style beat, almost like Beat Saber meets, I don't even know, it's a running game and a shooting game and a rhythm game. It's pretty much everything, but it looks interesting. So what did you guys think of the showcase? Those are kind of my thoughts on it. I was a little disappointed in the amount of Quest games. Actually, I was a lot disappointed in the amount of Quest games, considering we are officially a Quest, or unofficially, I should say. I don't want to get in trouble here. Unofficially a Quest channel. I wanted to see a lot more. But let me know in the comments what you think about the showcase itself. I'd like to try to reach out to some of these developers and get you guys more information, because I really want to know what's actually coming out to the Quest. But like I said, I'll keep you guys up to date. I think there's a lot more coming. It's just not being really focused on because it's not viewed as a high-end, according to them, platform. So thanks for watching this live stream event for the E3VR showcase. Subscribe to the channel for future VR content. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks so much for watching, and happy questing.